We ready to roll? All right. I'd like to call to order the Open Space Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. First, I'll read the land acknowledgement. The land that Eureka rests on is known in the Wiyot language as Druzuji. Past actions by local, state, and federal governments removed the Wiyot and other indigenous peoples from the land and threatened to destroy their cultural practices. The city of Eureka acknowledged the Wiyot community, their elders both past and present, as well as future generations. This acknowledgement demonstrates the city's commitment to dismantle the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism. And can we have the roll call, please?
Good evening, everyone. Okay, Commissioner Mays,
Here.
Commissioner Bareilles, Commissioner Brenner,
Here.
Commissioner Hedgecock, Commissioner Malik, Commissioner Sims,
Here.
and Commissioner Smoker.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. So now I'm going to be administering the oath of office to Sarah Smoker for the new commission term. And Commissioner Smoker is taking the oath of office tonight because the commission term that she filled in September 2025 expired on January 1st, 2026. Tonight's oath is the start of a new commission term. Sarah, please stand and raise your right hand. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me with that up there. Okay. Oh, okay, so that you can hear me? Okay. All right. And first, I'm going to say the word I, but then, Sarah, will you please state your name?
Sarah Smoker.
Do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California and the Charter of the City of Eureka, that I will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter in the capacity of Commissioner for the Open Space, Parks, and Recreation Committee of the City of Eureka. And now please say, I agree.
Yes, I agree.
And so now I will have you sign the oath of office. And here's the pen. Okay. Next, we're going to be approving the minutes from the January 22nd, 2026 regular meeting as submitted. Commissioners, are there any questions, correction, or comments from the commission on the minutes for the January 22nd, 2026 meeting? Is there any public comment on this item? Do we get everything spelled correctly this time? Okay. Is there anyone on Zoom tonight? Just us. And since there's no public comment, do we have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
I'll motion to approve the January minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, let's vote. Aye.
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 And the motion passes. Oh, we have a little drama outside. Okay. Are there any commission reports? And I'm not aware of any commission reports. And so we will move on to the next agenda item, which is public comments. Do we have any public comments tonight? No. Okay. We just have an audience. And since there's nobody on Zoom, we will move along to old business. We've got the Carson Park Improvement Project. And obviously, Robin is not with us tonight, so it looks like it's going to be Donna Wood.
Yes. Good evening, commissioners.
Good evening.
Great to see all your faces. Thank you for your patience while I've been in and out. I've gone through quite the medical journey over many months, and I know I've kind of been here and go. I think I'm on the upward swing of everything now, so very grateful to be here and see all of you. The exciting thing to share about Carson Park is that we've really, and I'm not quite sure all of the details that have been shared in previous months, but we are definitely deep in fundraising for the playground. Staff met with the Old Town Eureka Rotary last week to update them on funding opportunities for the playground. And then our partnership with Kiwanis of Henderson Center, shout out to John Friedenbach, he's come and presented and has, all of their members have just been delightful to work with. We really have built just a great foundation for this whole campaign. And there are a couple of events coming up around the corner for folks to get involved in. The first is we are doing, I'm not sure if anyone has heard of a quarter craze. It's a type of a fundraiser. We're doing we're not calling it a quarter craze. It will be it's called Quarters for Carson Park, and it's a big experience. It'll be hosted at the Adorney Center. There's a flyer on the screen for you, and it's on Friday, May 15th. It is certain to be. It will be. We'll have a lot of recreation staff present, bringing all the fun, and Kiwanis will be present. And if anyone is interested, there's all the details there to get signed up on the Kiwanis of Henderson Center Facebook page. And certain to be a spectacular event and hopefully a future role model event for us to utilize for the many other parks and fundraising projects coming up down the road, namely Sequoia Park. So that is one of the things. And then we don't have the actual week, but we'll be posting that and getting that information to everybody for the Eureka Natural Foods Roundup for Carson Park also. So both of those, one's kind of launching in March, and then this Quarters for Carson on May 15th. So really have some great concepts in play, and a lot of these bigger fundraising efforts are somewhat new to our team, and so we're really trying to become knowledgeable about how to be successful, as especially with Carson and Sequoia Park needing a lot of additional funding. So. That is the scoop on Carson Park.
Are there any comments or questions for staff on that? I have a question. What is going to be going on with Eureka Natural Foods?
It's the every week there's a different.
It's different. When you go to the register, you can round up.
And you can round up. Yes.
All right.
Good question. Thank you.
So if somebody wanted to volunteer for any of these events, would they contact you or the Kiwanis, or do you have any idea about that?
Both would be an opportunity. You can reach out directly to Kiwanis, or we also have many opportunities with volunteering directly with the staff. Yeah,
Great.
Reach on out. And also welcome Commissioner Smoker.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
I think there's some ways through donations. Like the quarter craze is like items that, and you're bidding with a paddle, and then you're putting quarters into it. So if there's a bunch of people there, they're putting quarters in, and then that one person wins that prize, but there's like over 100 or 150 prizes. It goes quickly. We're going to need people during that event. And then also or if you have connections for like smaller, like donation type stuff too. But if you have any questions about it too later, reach out to us, and it's a fun event that like our staff has done some recon on, and it's a popular thing out there in the community right now. And they do it at Elks clubs and other places for different organizations, and then you can win some fun prizes too, bottles of wine or gift certificates, things like that.
Do you actually bring quarters?
Yes. And then we'll have quarters.
That's
and
what
so
will get my husband involved.
we'll need people to go out
got quarters, I
and
think.
sell the quarters. We'll have like tables that have, they'll be
Sounds like
exchanging for rolls of quarters, stuff like that.
Be like a lot of fun energy.
Yeah,
it's a
it's gonna
playful
be fun.
event. There'll be an MC hosting with that great fun kind of flavor.
It acts a lot like a big community bingo game.
Yeah.
They'll say we're going to do prize whatever. This is worth 3 quarters. If you want to do this, put your 3 quarters in the bucket on your table and hold your paddle number up so we know who all is competing, because you don't have to
and
try
then
for
they-
every prize.
Okay.
And then they draw a paddle number.
Okay.
And then whoever that paddle number is wins. If that paddle number didn't actually put quarters in for that item, then they draw another number. And then if that, and there's always a duck thing. Like if if 3 people didn't put in for that got drawn, then whoever has the duck or the whoever for that item gets the special prize, and then it moves to somebody else. It's really, really community. There's lots of happenings with the people that are there. It's not where you can sit back and just watch. You have to participate.
Okay.
Yeah,
and there's
I'll
food,
volunteer.
there's dinner, and some beer and wines, things like that. It'll be a fun environment. So.
Okay, so we can email you or we could get a hold of John,
Yes.
right, at Kiwanis. Great. Any other comments or questions? Okay, thank you so much, Donna, for that update. And now there is no new business, so we will move on to reports. The McKay Community Forest Advisory Group, and I am the liaison, and Barbara is also the alternate liaison, and she was also at the meeting. And first of all, I will mention some of the things that we discussed. There is going to be a bypass trail from Redwood Acres area southward, and this is going to be for people accessing the McKay Forest from Redwood Fields. And now right now they're waiting for easement approval. And then the Redwood Coast Mountain Bike Association is in the process of putting in soil. They've spent $25,000 on to have soil delivered so that they can be building bike trails and ramps, and they're putting in steel frames for different. They call it a pump track, and they're getting gravel, and that's all in the North Ridge section of the McKay Community Forest. And then we're going to be meeting with Monument Settings, which is a local bench maker. I think they're outside of Arcata, and to see if they will provide benches for the McKay Community Forest. There's going to be a trail summit that is organized by Humboldt Trails Council, and that's going to be at the Sequoia Center on May 30th, and there'll be a Beta Zoo trail update there, but there'll also be field trips in the afternoon, and one of the field trips is going to be at the McKay Community Forest. And I think it'll be at the North Ridge Trail because some of those trails there are flat and wheelchair accessible. They're also establishing a McKay Forest fund at Humboldt Area Foundation, and those funds, as they're received, will be distributed as grants. There's going to be what they call donor-advised fund guidelines, and we're going to have a committee that is going to set up criteria for deciding what projects should be funded from these donations. And right now, they're going to be starting to develop an application process for that. We're considering developing a memorial bench program so that people could also donate in that way, very similar to the Arcata Community Forest, where you see that the benches, have memorial plaques on them. And then once that fund is established, then our group is going to start being more involved in fundraising for the McKay Community Forest. And so some examples of types of projects that we're considering funding would be things like proposals for habitat restoration, youth education of, forestry. Let's see. The county is also talking to Green Diamond to exchange 6 acres They're also hoping to get the timber plan finally approved and do a timber harvest next year, because that is how we're going to get funds to do more projects for the forest. Trout Unlimited will be a partner in the salmon habitat restoration. There's $4 million in grants there, and they'll be doing monitoring in conjunction with the county. The county is also preparing some PDF maps of the Redwood Acres and Northridge trails, those established trails, and those are going to be on the county website. But as Dennis, remember Dennis Houghton? You know, he's doing a lot of trail building out there for the McKay Forest. And as he builds new trails, their group is also decommissioning unsanctioned public trails, so that people will start using only the sanctioned trails. And they're also using down trees to start blocking some of those areas. Oh, and he had also said that the week before our meeting, he had 44 helpers out there because Cal Poly has a group that's helping clear the vegetation and old fence posts. I don't know if, Carl, if you've been out there too helping them. That's what I thought maybe. So anyway, those are all my notes. Barbara, can you think of anything I left
Well,
out?
I mean, they're going to do ultimately 31 miles of trails or something in there. It's incredible. And I was the one that pleaded for the maps because I've been in there. I only go there with people that I think really know the way because you can get turned around. And so I anxiously await the maps and the dry weather. I thought, okay, since I am, the alternate on this group now, I better get over there and check it out. It's poured rain ever since. But I have been there 2 or 3 times and it's a little confusing in there with no maps. So that'll be a good thing.
Commissioners, any other comments or questions? Okay, and now upcoming volunteer opportunities. I'm assuming it's going to be Donna.
I'm going to jump in.
Oh, okay, Jeff.
So we have our monthly volunteer opportunities. First being on March 7th of the Old Town Beautification Group, and of course Los Bagels providing bagels. It's always a good incentive. 9 a.m. to 10:30 on March 7th. Then we're also going to be having the Sequoia Park Ivy League ongoing monthly stuff. They do stuff outside of their monthly meetings, but they'll be out there on March 14th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then we're going to be hosting the Repair Cafe again, which we talked about last meeting was really successful. We've changed the venue to make it a little more accommodating for folks. It's going to be at the Adorney. We do still need volunteers to help with that. But also come participate and bring some items for them to fix. And Robin did a really awesome presentation about that last month and talked about the different kinds of things that people brought and that it didn't bring and what we were kind of expecting. And so if you got some electronics and bicycles and things like that, it has to be able to be carried in. But we are also looking for volunteers for that. That's going to be on March 15th at the Adorney Center, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then I'd like to invite up our volunteer superstar, Carl Klenner, for an update on what's going on in the Cooper Gulch and other areas of town.
Thank you for that rousing introduction. Can you bring this up? Yeah. I'm a chronic stooper, so if you could bring it up, that would be great.
I'm pushing. Is there something I need to? There it goes.
Sorry, there's a power button over here.
All right, great.
Is that as high as it'll go?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
awesome. Thank you. So since the last meeting of this commission, we've been out there 8 times. We're up to 689 volunteer hours. That's in about the last 5 months or so. We've removed 18,000 pounds of green waste. there's a lot of piles of green waste there now because we're kind of not going to worry about removing green waste until the bridges are done. So I'm kind of afraid of having a green waste removal day and then, the bridges are being put in today. We've also had another event at the Humboldt County Office of Education. We had 40 volunteers there. We estimate we removed about 20,000 pounds eradicated, don't want to say removed, eradicated 20,000 pounds of ivy. So there was a lot of fruiting ivy there. So the birds are eating it, flying into the Cooper Gulch Park and pooping it out, or more likely regurgitating it, and keeping the ivy going there. So it's all part of this concept of, wildlife corridors and connecting things. Been spending a lot of time on digging out roots and learning how to dig out roots. We're starting to use a block and tackle to use a mechanical advantage to get the roots out. One day, Chris, the maintenance person there, who is a stand-up guy, he's all into native plants and everything. So he was using the excavator to rip stuff out, and then we'd rush in and pull out the roots, and then he'd go back and rip out more. And so that was pretty effective. The roots on holly trees and cotoneaster are pretty extensive, and so it really helps to have an excavator. Unfortunately, a lot of the holly and cotoneaster that we've taken out are on slopes, so even if we had unlimited access to excavators, it wouldn't be enough because you don't want to bring the excavators on these slopes. You all met with Chris on Monday, so I was really happy to hear. He told me what you guys had talked about and how hopefully in the fall there'll be a planting. And so Chris and I talked about what areas we were going to focus on. The thing is, you don't want to plant stuff. Okay, so you take out these invasives. You don't want to plant a bunch of stuff and then still have invasives there, ideally, because then you have to go in and okay, there's still roots to rip out and all this stuff. And so you're trampling on the native plants that you just put in. So we kind of decided on the areas that we would focus on just to get everything out so we could plant stuff there. Yeah, so that's what we've been up to at Cooper Gulch Park. Thanks very much for your support.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
And I'm not familiar with the Cooper Gulch Park. I've never walked in there. When you say bridges, so are there temporary bridges that are put in different times of the year?
Well, there's the old bridges that are there. And so there's two older bridges. I like them, but they're getting a little old. And so now they've got two really big metal bridges that are going to be put to replace
okay.
those two.
So there's
Yeah.
an actual permanent structures that are going to be going in. Okay.
Yeah, and actually, so I'm hoping that we could use some kind of motorized thing, like a small motorized thing could safely go over the new bridges. And so they can pull some of the carts that I've constructed so that we don't have to run back and forth with the carts with all this green waste. 18,000 pounds of green waste, takes its toll.
May I make a comment? Carl, the numbers that you are sharing on a regular basis,
Yeah.
mind blowing. The impact that you and the crew of volunteers are making is huge. I don't even know where to start with a thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so sorry. And then some of the, motivation behind this is hopefully we can get more get grants, because this is something that we can say, this has already happened. Now give us money. We're going to do more with the park. So yeah, the whole idea is to just start something going. And another goal is to get a neighborhood group, people that are, and a lot of the volunteers are people that live within 1 or 2 blocks of Cooper Gulch Park. So, I mean, ideally we would establish a neighborhood group, and then they would just keep it going to maintain, the native plants and all that stuff after the invasives are gone. So thank you. Yeah, cool.
Appreciate your forward thinking on that.
Yes.
Cool.
And so as staff, we need to be on the lookout for these grant opportunities. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Thanks.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
Sorry. So where do you take all of that? Does Humboldt Waste Management Authority accept it in their green waste program?
So, yeah, HW, whatever, Recology takes it.
Oh, they do.
They take it to West Green, and then from
Oh, they
West
do.
Green, it
Okay.
goes into one of two places. It either goes to the electricity generating place in down south, Rio Del. Yeah, the furnace I think is in Rio Del.
Scotia?
What's that?
Would it be, is Scotia a cojo?
Scotia. Yeah, that's where. So it either goes to Scotia as part of that electricity generating, or it's mulched by, like if they're full up, then it goes somewhere else for mulching. I still haven't gotten 100% certain answer about like what might happen to seeds.
Yeah.
Like if seeds are going, but I assume that it's ground up so much for the garden stuff that they're making it into. I think it's ground up so much that it wouldn't be like viable. But
Okay.
that's
Like
yeah.
a starfish.
I got this list of things to do that's on there, like make sure that, but that list gets ignored a lot.
Well, thank
Okay.
you, Carl.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Carl.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adrienne. Yeah.
Jeff, anything else?
No, I'll just touch on a couple things that Carl's talked about with our staff, our park staff. Chris Robertson has he's very knowledgeable, has a master's degree in very knowledgeable and a master's degree in horticulture and botany, and so he's we have these amazing staff people that don't just do the mow and blow, and we want to utilize their skills. This has been a great opportunity, and he's a master gardener. He has a lot of good skills to bring to the table, and we want to celebrate that stuff. We also do have a CCC group that we are getting online to do a huge invasives, and so like getting those Cotoneaster roots out and stuff that Carl's talking about. You should see our cute little John Deere tractor. When Carl says excavator, people are thinking something like that's parked outside here, but it's a cute little green John Deere and with a little bucket on the back, so we can get in and out of those places. And the bridges that span the creek are going to be replaced as part of the restoration project that's going on. We've ran into some weather issues because they need to be concrete footings and stuff like that. But if you haven't gone out there, I do encourage you to go out there. We did have a walkthrough in January with over 80 people showed up just to look at the project, the daylighting and the fish passage projects. Some of the funds that we're also going to be utilizing to complete the trail stuff in there is through the Link Housing grants. And because there's portions of that grant funding that were like for accessibility to get to these different places and through connecting through neighborhoods. And so there's a little bit of funds going into that, but we're always looking for those opportunities, especially like to get to work with CCs and to get volunteer days. And then we'll also have some plantings coming, and we've even been able to work with staff in-house on propagating some of the plants so that we're not going out buying them. So lots of little things coming into play of utilizing people's skill sets that aren't like I said, the typical, the mow and blow you think of the park staff. So just wanted to shout out Chris Robertson. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for that report. And now the parks capital projects, and Jeff again.
Yeah, so we've been talking about Grace Martin Park. We went to council earlier this month. We got awarded, and we have a contractor. It's going to be RAO Construction. Excuse me, they're a local company. The city's done a lot of work with them. We have a awesome project manager to work with in engineering, Matt Grosjean, who we've worked with on a lot of different projects. And so we're really excited to get started. We are looking at an April 1st start date, and we're still on target for that. We may even start a little early. So hopefully the next meeting will come with like some photos of some groundbreaking and stuff like that. Yeah, we're excited. Dios, we're still, as I said, putting all these little touches on. So a couple things that happened at Dios this month was we got a beautiful new kiosk that is positioned by the basketball courts, and it's going to have like program information, and it's got some required signage that we need for the grant also in there, but also just community events and things like that will be posted in there. So we're excited to get that installed. It's a large 3-panel kiosk. We are working on a camera system, so we're starting that like probably next week, getting a camera installed. We do have a lot cop there that's in the parking lot that has good coverage, but the blue lights and things like that. We want to get something a little bit more permanent. We have some challenges there because we don't have Wi-Fi and things like that yet. And there's a lot of network projects going into those neighborhoods. You see the Vero trucks everywhere. That's what they're putting in, network cables, so that we can get things like Wi-Fi for different uses there, but cameras being one. And then we got new bollards. If you've been by the Jacob Haney site, and they're really cool. They're baseballs. So they're like a 3-foot concrete baseball. Very apropos for the park, and it really looks nice and serves functional safety things. And then we put one just like in the little plaza for kids to sit on and take their pictures, and they're really cool. Pedestals for the interpretive panels have been installed, and they were a custom thing that we designed with bay tank metals. So they look like tree limbs and then coming out of the ground. And then we had them powder coated to look like tree branches, and they're all locally made. And then they are powder coated, and then they'll have the signs. We are awaiting the first interp sign, which is information about the WIOT and the naming of the park and the watersheds and things like that. And then the next panel, which we already have the pedestal there, will talk about 2030 Park. So we have a call out to folks through social media outlets for what are your memories of 2030 Park? And then we have some historical stuff that's going to go on there. But so yeah, there's still the little things coming as we go, and we still have a little bit of funding left. And so lots of great activity out there. We just love going out there and watching people play.
Any comments or questions for Jeff on Parks Capital projects? Okay. Thank you, Jeff, for that report. Next, we'll move on to the Recreation Revenue Summary for January 2026. Are there any questions or comments from the commissioners on the Recreation Revenue Report?
You know, I have a concern. I would like clarification. It was about the little saplings. I saw that the money, you had a little thing about that. It sounded like a great benefit for employees, get to use it, which was great, except that you said that the attendance was down, and here the employees are using 33%, and attendance is down. Is that just our population demographic? We don't have any little kids, or is it something else going on that's causing it not to be utilized?
We would be happy to bring staff on that are responsible for the preschool to come and talk to you if you'd like someone to come and provide a report. That level of detail, we don't have any information on.
It's in the report, so that's where I got it.
No.
Yeah,
That is the information that was provided by the individual that's responsible for the program.
Okay.
So we can get more information and report back if you'd like that question answered.
I would like the question answered
Okay.
because, I mean, it affects your funding. I mean,
course.
and if your 33% is, employee benefit, then it's why are we, that's, I'm an accountant.
Yeah.
Just numbers.
Happy to bring another report to you.
It
Match up.
seems to me that there wasn't there previous discussion that didn't the school district open some programs that maybe compete with this? Is that one of the issues? We'll find out when they
I
come.
don't know the
but-
specifics on that, but it is
Yeah.
a great benefit for employees, and it's designed for employee retention, especially like in our public safety. It's getting childcare is a huge thing, and so to be able to have that option is a retention, which when you don't have retention, it costs a lot more money than what we're putting out for programming for this program. And I do think that a speculation that there's cycles of The school, you see it with the school or with the school enrollments, but we can find out details from our program manager.
And then I'm sorry to ask another question about this because you guys don't have all the information, but is this a new thing then that the attendance is free for city staff, or has that been an ongoing thing? Okay.
Several years.
Yeah, several years.
Several years. Okay. Interesting.
And definitely decision made because of, like Jeff said, the desire for retention and the investment in our city staff and keeping them, especially with EPD staff.
Yeah. Yeah, seems like a great program. I'd like to definitely echo though Jenny's desire to hear a little more about it, just
Sure,
because
you got
if the drop off isn't related to city staff enrollment, then yeah, it'd just be interesting to hear what it is.
Sure, you're welcome.
But then also, yeah, just like great, even with that big drop off, like still an increase in revenue, which is really good to see.
Is there any public comment on this item?
Excuse me,
Oh,
I have a
sure.
question. Hey, Jeff, I just wanted to ask, I noticed the Muni's 14 in the red. Can you, is it always like that, or is it because it's an off season? Or?
No, and that could be just like a refund. So somebody may have scheduled something. That to me, what that looks like, the $14 is like some skating refund or something. Like we canceled skating for some reason, and but I'm not sure that skating gets included in that line item. But we can also follow up on
We
that.
can follow up on that as well. Bring it back next time.
I know that we are going to be doing some renovations at the Muni that have to do with renovations at this facility. And so we're going to be moving staff over there too. So I know that those numbers are probably going to look different in the future. Just we'll let you know all about it because we probably won't be meeting here. I don't know where we'll meet, but when we do a renovation here. Nothing to worry about right now, though.
Okay. So, do we have a motion to accept the January revenue report? Okay, do we have a
I'll
second? Let's vote. Aye.
Aye.
And the motion passes. So, staff reports. Donna.
Yeah, absolutely. As you may or may not know, we are very lucky that the City of Eureka Sequoia Park Zoo is an accredited zoo. And that's a really big deal because that ensures that we maintain a certain level of standards. And the city takes great pride in that. One thing that is interesting about being accredited is that you have to go through the process every 5 years. So we are in the process this month of preparing and submitting the application to be reaccredited. We're kind of in that recertification phase, if you will. So that's the biggest topic that's happening at the zoo. I thought that was important to share with you. And it's really great because the AZA accreditation process holds standards to animal care, to deaths within the program, to business planning and being mindful of revenue. And there's just a lot of crossing your T's and dotting your I's and making sure that we hit those standards. And it's a really beautiful thing because I don't think anyone would want to be responsible for a zoo that wasn't accredited. So it's a positive. And so that's a little update on the zoo. And then I wanted to share, we have this crazy success in adult volleyball going on. We have, in my memory, and I've been with this department for 29 years in April. And in all of that time, I cannot remember having more, like our average was 6 or 7 teams, period. Maybe a couple times we got them up to like 10 or 12. We have 26 teams, 26 adult volleyball teams.
Seems like 12 or 15 people or something. That's a lot of people.
I think they're like
Say like 8.
8 or 9 per team.
Yeah.
You need 6 to play, and then you rotate. So.
Yeah, it's just awesome. It's a lot of all ages too. We're noticing folks that just want to get out there and recreate and be healthy, and it's really awesome. And then one last comment with regards to sports. You may have seen the campaign in January from our local school district regarding sportsmanship and navigating audience behavior, parent behavior, player behavior, and the relationships that folks have with refs and scorekeepers. And it is definitely a challenge, probably across the world, I bet I can say. Something about competition and sports brings out some surly behavior in some folks. And we've experienced it off and on all throughout the years, and it always is going to be a part of managing sports, both for youth and adults. At this time, though, we are making a giant leap towards ensuring that we have also high standards for how people behave when they walk in to the City of Eureka Gym moving forward. We've had some challenges, and we need to completely revamp what our expectations are, and also what the consequences are for repeat behavior. So we as a team have been deep navigating that topic. And I think in the next month or two, I'll invite our recreation supervisor to come give you a report on the details of the shifts that we're making, and with the desire to create a healthy, positive play experience for all, minus the griping and the grumpy and all the stuff that comes along with some levels of competition. So just excited to update you on that and then keep you up in the loop, because how we manage our programs and expectations and consequences really determines the health of a recreation department. And when we have expectations that are healthy for youth programs, these youth in our programs have been, I've worked with kids at age 6 and now they're 40. So our kids grow up in our rec programs, and how they interface and how they're treated, and the expectations that are placed on preschool, after school, summer camp, and then as they age into adult recreation, the majority of our adult programs that have folks in their 20s and 30s, many of those folks have participated in recreation programs for years. So it's a big cultural piece of the program that we manage. So just wanted to give you that update, and then we'll bring more details as we finalize them. And staff is available for questions, if there's any.
Commissioners, are there any comments or questions for Donna?
Yeah, I have one from the activities report.
Okay.
Right, and it was about the roller skating. They were talking about the transitioning the waivers from paper to electronic. And, you know, it's been so long since I've signed that little waiver years back. But I saw it, went online, saw it, you know, and there's a lot of, you know, medical questions, a lot of behavioral questions. But is it actually going to be available for use? Because, you know, if you have a kid that has an allergy or something, if that information is electronically someplace else, is it going to be at the roller skating place available?
Well, sure. The way that when we receive waivers, this kind of across the board for all our programs, anytime we receive a waiver on a future participant, our staff are trained to look at those waivers thoroughly to identify, oh, this child, these are the folks that are available to pick them up. This person is not. And that information, the peanut allergy, all those little details, those are placed on what we call a hot sheet. So it's pulled off a waiver and put onto a document that is a regularly daily visual and that type of thing. So there's a couple of checks and balances to help us ensure that information makes it to the kind of the boots on the ground people.
Okay, I just saw it off in the cloud and going, oh, you know.
That was a good
You
question.
know, because they wanted you to fill it out online. I'm just going, well, how does it get to where your kid actually is?
Good point.
We do have the digital capabilities at most of those facilities. Like skating has a computer to access that. We have tablets at summer camps and things like that. So it should be available in multiple forms. But like Donna said, having that hot sheet, the pre-knowledge is key, so we can prevent things from happening instead of react to it. I do have.
ask you the February 28th dog park event. I don't remember if you brought it up yet.
I was just gonna touch on a couple things. So It looks like we're going to cancel because it looks like it's going to be pouring rain. But we are trying to have something every month, and they're themed. And so Jim Thomas, our recreation supervisor, has come up with these themed paw parties like we had last month. I think this one was like centered around Valentine's type stuff and but activities. And we have a lot of really great volunteers that work at the dog park with us. And we do like doggy art and things like that are just really cute, fun things. And as well as just the social, like community, people hang around and chat and while the dogs play. And it's for people, not just dogs too. So, yeah, but it looks like we're going to be canceling that one on Saturday. But we will have another one planned for next month. And we're doing a lot of maintenance too on the dog park. We did fix that fence in the back is all fixed up with some new material that you can't cut into and stuff. And then the volunteers have been doing a lot of work with we did a lot of tree work last month, and so we're utilizing the mulch tree chips down there because it's a little swampy. It is a wetland. And we're also doing some, just making sure we're like really ahead of the game with the trimming and landscaping stuff, because the season's coming where it's going to grow exponentially. So if you might have noticed, like today it was closed for 6 hours while we had a maintenance crew in there, trying not to disrupt people's routines, but we do need to close when we have like machine mowers and things running in there. So a couple other things, Highland Park, the pickleball courts, heavy use there, working with the Humboldt Pickleball Club, and they actually purchased a really cool storage locker that's out there that we can utilize, and so we can store some of the nets and things like that and equipment so it doesn't disappear as frequently. But with the high usage there, we're seeing a lot of really more positive effects at the park. And the ability to use a restroom, etc. And then the pickleball club's there every Saturday, and then there other players come throughout the week and stuff. But lots of activity there. So we're really happy to get this storage box out on the court. So it's really easy to access. And then in the harbor area, we've been doing a lot of trail work, like I said, to keep ahead of the game on the maintenance of the trimming and things like that, and keeping access for the trail. And then we've also been utilizing the flail mower out there. That'll kind of slow down. We're now into the bird nesting seasons, and so we're going to be slowing down we won't be getting that in depth into the riparian areas and stuff, but we'll be mowing the grass and stuff along the shoulders and just keeping it visibly safe for folks to feel safe out there. And then our wonderful volunteer trail stewards are out there every weekend. There's a different group out there, and I know we talked a couple months ago about we hired a person that's a liaison to that group that helps with their tool storage and all that. There's 5 different sections of the trail that they have broken up into, and each weekend is a different area, and so it's getting love every weekend, and we want to help nurture that. So, and they're a huge help to us. So shout out to the volunteer trail stewards. And then also in the harbor stuff, we're working feverishly on permitting for the dredging materials. So it's a science thing that it's not something we've ever done before, Donna and I myself. So we're getting some consulting and things like that to navigate this important process so that we can keep our harbor operational and navigationally safe. So, for recreation and our commercial activities out there. So that's all I've got tonight.
Can I add one more thing? I just think it's quite cool that you were talking about our tiny little John Deere mower. Was it a mower?
It's a tractor.
A tractor. That we have the cutest small John Deere tractor. That was how he referenced it. And I was like, all right.
Pretty cute.
Our tractor's cute. You agree, girl? Yeah.
Well, we have a big brother tractor too that's a little bit bigger than that one. Okay. But this cute little one, it fits across the bridge. It fits in these little small areas. We use it at the zoo You think of a massive tractor, but it does the work. It's a workhorse.
It's fun.
I have a question on, so with the dredging, is that a season, are you trying to do it in the spring or summer? Is it
So
that kind of project?
There's time windows that
Okay,
we need
time
to
windows.
observe because of habitat things.
Okay.
So smelt and other things that are in there, and so part of the like process we're going through is the sampling parts, and so there's like toxicology, there's characteristics of the materials testing, and then there's like they'll test the toxicity by like putting an actual species into the sample and see what the effects are, or what a mortality would look like in that of a clam or something like that. And so, traditionally the bay has had a lot of different activities and, the shipbuilding eras and stuff. And so there are some contamination concerns. And then our offshore of Humboldt is called Hoods. It's our Humboldt Open Ocean Disposal Site. And it's a quadrant that you can take these spoils, they call them, which is basically the mud, and take it out to there. There's also looking at like beach restoration, and then there's beneficial reuse of some of the materials, as long as it meets the criteria. We don't want to be putting something that has any toxicity into a new, beneficial reuse type thing. With sea level rise and things like that, it's becoming more and more popular to utilize the spoils for stuff like that. Beach restoration, and we lose a lot of sand on our beach in these winter months, so it can be a replenishment for that. But many communities along our coast, from I would say Bodega Bay to Southern Oregon, utilize this Humboldt Open Ocean Disposal. It's regulated by the EPA. So we're dealing with EPA, water boards, Army Corps of Engineers, a lot of different agencies to get this thumbs up that we're ready to go.
It is a big project.
It's huge. And then the actual operation of it, which I have done quite a few times working in the harbor, that's a whole nother endeavor. But I'm a little more familiar with that one than all of this more sciencey stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for
Yeah,
that update.
thank you.
How
Any other
frequently
questions?
so once it's done, is it like every 5 years, every 15? What do you do?
Ideally, I wish it was 15. Certain parts of the bay and certain like corners catch more silt, and then with the realignment of rivers and things like that over the last 100+ years, that changes how things collect. But we're probably on a cycle of like 7 to 8 years. And it's quite expensive, but it's also something that's experienced throughout the bay. So we can work together. And so we belong to North Coast Dredging Group, and then we meet and we talk about who else is wants to do a project. So we reach out to all the timber industries, the Chevron, and all these other companies to see like, what is your plan for dredging? What are your needs? Because we can save a lot of money on like mobilization costs if we're sharing them with other agencies. And so the previous dredging cycle we did in 2017, the Coast Guard was bringing in, they needed some dredging, so we were able to work together. And we hope to do the same with the Harbor District. And there's a lot of different projects, like the wind projects and things like that, and their terminal projects that they'll need some dredging for. And then the Army Corps takes care of all the dredging of the channels. Those are federally regulated channels. So you see the big boat that comes through and it's really moving slow. That is a dredge that is picking up the debris, the silt from the channel floors, and taking it to their disposal sites too. And that's a kind of a cool operation to watch too. They keep that navigation area clear for the ships to come in and out. When you only have a limited amount of water, you can't fill the chip barges up to the full capacities, or log ships or fuel tankers, because they'll run aground. And so there's the silt limits our economy and other things. It has a lot of effects. as well as just recreational boating and stuff too. So
Very interesting.
yeah, it's super interesting.
Yeah.
And the different uses of the history of our bay is really fascinating too to me.
Well, thank you so much for that update. And we don't accept the activity report, just the revenue summary. But good question. So our next regular meeting will be on March 26, 2026 at 6 p.m. here in Council Chambers at Eureka City Hall, and the meeting is now adjourned.